The 26th International Conference of Islamic Unity starts with the participation of scholars from more than 100 countries. Units of the Syrian army break the back of terrorist groups and destroy their weapons. The Russian defense minister asserts that Russia's priorities include the development of the armed forces and supplying them with modern weapons and equipment. Good afternoon. Welcome to our news bulletin. I'm Dania Nizam. The 26th International Conference of the Islamic Unity started in Tehran with the participation of 1,000 Iranian intellectuals and famous religious figures from 102 countries, including Syria. In the opening of the conference, Iranian President Ahmadinejad asserted the need to unite in order to defeat Zionism and to achieve justice. Nejad added that the Muslims have the right to rise in order to solve the Islamic world's problems, pointing out the necessity to enhance the justice principles in all the Islamic countries. The Grand Mufti of the Syrian Republic, Dr. Ahmad Badruddin Hassoun, stressed in a statement, given the name of the Arab and Islamic delegations, that Syria is paying a high price because it always supports the resistance and the Palestinian cause, and what is taking place in Syria is not an issue of authorities and change of governments. It is a destruction of a country that supports the resistance and sacrifices for it. Hassoun clarified that the Islamic world is losing some countries, adding that the West is working day and night in order to tire out the Islamic world. That's what they are doing in Somalia, Sudan, Afghanistan, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt and Syria. The participants stressed that it is the duties of all the Islamic scholars in the Islamic world to intensify efforts to solve the crisis and prevent fatwas against Islam, which aim at splitting the Muslims. The Popular Committee for the Defense of Syria, chaired by its honorary chief freedom fighter Bassam al-Shikar, began a campaign of blood donations for the heroic Syrian army in order to provide it with all the elements of steadfastness and victory in its battle to protect Syria's independence and to confront the reactionary terrorist mercenaries. The campaign was launched from the house of Mr. al-Shikar in Nablus. It was joined by various figures from occupied Palestine. It was also attended by the Russian consul and the Palestinian Authority. The participants asserted that Syria's battle was the battle of all progressive and free nationalists. How some Arab news stations sketch out their policies? What is this? This political analyst Danny Mickey talked about during an interview with the Syrian TV.
The first victim of any conflict is always the truth. And this is indeed manifested by the Syria crisis. What we've had is a level of propaganda which has been propagated by a certain state-run media in the Arab world. I don't want to mention names, but everyone knows who they are. They're controlled by states, but they're given the perception that they work within free Arab media when they're truly not. They obviously have a state line, and the state line has been that we seek regime change in Syria. This is the line of the states who provide funding and finance to these media stations. So it is only natural that these media stations, in accord and in tandem with these states, are going to take a line in regards to the Syria crisis, which is, we will not show any side of the truth from the government side, or even the middle. We will only show one side of what we consider the truth, which is, of course, we all understand now, it's not the truth. And we will aim to embark on a destabilization campaign within Syria, and to create as much chaos, media-wise, as we can, especially within the Arab world.
A Syrian Arab army unit continued to chase the remaining terrorists in the Damascus countryside. In Daraya, a unit of our army controlled the area of Al-Zaytun Square, the graveyards, the school groups, the court and the municipality. They also killed a number of terrorists in El Shreda, including their so-called mufti. Our armed forces also discovered 3 tunnels used by the terrorists to carry weapons and ammunition. These tunnels link the buildings of the financial department, the municipality and Anas Mosque near the cultural centre. In Hama, the Association of Youth in El Salamiyya and a number of its students launched a voluntary campaign to rehabilitate the schools that were attacked by the terrorists. The association asserted that the will of life in Syria would remain strong. The Syrian youth would have their say in the future of their country. Meanwhile, the Minister of National Reconciliation, Ali Haidar, visited the place that was subjected to a terrorist explosion targeting Hama Street in El Salamiyya. He called for rehabilitating the place and rebuilding the damaged area as soon as possible. This would send a message to the criminals that Syrians continue to be the sons of life.
No one can hide the light of life inside those people who loved life and defended it to the last drop of their blood. Our message is that the Syrians are the sons of life. In the past, Syrians have sent leaders to the world and who proved to be that they were leaders.
They damaged the school, they damaged the windows and everything. On Sunday we have school. We are preparing so that we can enter the school and continue. Whatever terrorism they commit, they will not beat us. We insist on going to school.
We are high school students. We want to return to school and to live our lives as normal. Our lives should not be stopped because of such terrorists. Whatever they do, we will continue our life and our education. This is our right. Nobody has the right to destroy our life. We started this campaign since the early morning. We will continue till we repair all the schools using the simplest tools until they are prepared by the Ministry of Education.
In the Hama countryside, our armed forces restored security and stability to the village of Hili in the western area of the governorate. This area witnessed the crimes of armed terrorist groups who filled its streets with roadblocks and explosive devices. They also forced people out of their homes on the basis of fatwas from their leaders who belonged to Al-Qaeda terrorist organizations. Even schools were not spared from their crimes. Our armed forces also cleaned the village of Tel Sheikh Hadid from terrorists and discovered tunnels used by those terrorists.
The traitor must die, and the honest who loves his homeland must be brave. Thanks for the Syrian Arab army who protected us, and God be with them.
In the governorate of Al-Hasaka, the people carried out a sit-in before the Palace of Justice. They demanded to see an end to the crimes of abduction and looting carried out by armed terrorists. The participants condemned the Western and Gulf support for terrorism in Syria. The support contributes to the spread of extremist terrorism throughout the region, threatening its stability and the security of its people. In Homs, our valiant armed forces killed and wounded a terrorist group that was carrying out murder crimes and threatening citizens and their property. Our armed forces defused a considerable number of explosive devices that the terrorists planted in Wadi Sayr. The Minister of the Interior, General Mohammed Sha'ar, surveyed with the directors of central departments of the ministry the security situation and the duties of the policemen who preserve the security of our homeland and our citizens. He stressed the importance of preserving security and helping the people in every way. He expressed appreciation of the sacrifices offered by the forces of internal security. He also stressed the necessity of taking care of the families of their martyrs and giving all the assistance and support to their wounded personnel. The minister stressed that terrorism would only increase our people's determination to protect united Syria and to carry out our duties until our homeland is saved from this plot of our enemies who work for the terrorist Zionist entity. The minister pointed out that the Ministry of Interior would offer facilities to citizens who wish to return to their homeland in accordance with the government communique and political program to solve the crisis. All guarantees have been offered to citizens who wish to return and leave without any hindrance and to enable them to take part in the national dialogue. The Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shweo asserted that Russia's priorities included the development of the armed forces and supplying them with advanced modern weapons and equipment. He pointed out that the role of the armed forces was important in the development of military sciences in the country. In his speech in the Academy of Military Sciences in Moscow, he said that there were hot spots near the Russian borders and the Russian forces should be ready to face and foil any threats or challenges. The Russian Chief of Staff, General Valery Gerasimov, asserted the readiness of the Russian army to wage large-scale wars. A strategy has been set up to develop the Russian army's readiness on the short and long course. And now it's over to Vani Konjian with the economic news. For more information, you can visit our website, syriaonline.sy. God bless you all, and God bless Syria.
Good afternoon. The Agriculture Committee in Hama Governorate held a meeting that focused on expanding wheat cultivation and on investing new agricultural areas for producing wheat during the coming season, noting that this is one of the most important components of food security in Syria. 59,000 hectares are decided to be planted with wheat in the El Ghab region in Hama, where more than 48,000 hectares have already been planted. The production rate of Al Yarmouk mill in Daraa Governorate exceeded the planned amount during the year 2012 to reach 120%, as it processed over 70,000 tons of wheat, marking an increase of about 12,000 tons compared to the planned amount, which was about 59,000 tons, and the sales were about 1 billion Syrian pounds. The mill sources pointed out that the maximum work capacity is ongoing in order to provide the maximum amount of flour which is necessary for the public and private bakeries. The main committee of poultry in the Chambers of Agriculture called on granting poultry raisers loans without benefits, in addition to addressing the difficulties facing them, so that they would be able once again to cover the market's demand of eggs and chicken. Many breeders don't have the needed liquidity to carry on production after the terrorists destroyed their establishments. The technical advisor at the Chamber of Agriculture pointed out that the governmental procedures, such as producing veterinary drugs locally in addition to producing feed, have contributed in enhancing the sector and making Syria an exporter of eggs, while it used to be an importer. The National Office for Statistics in China stressed that the industrial company's profits in China increased by 17.3% on an annual basis, noting that it has now approached $143.91 billion after rising by 22.8% in November. On the other hand, the industrial profits were about 5.56 trillion yuan in the year 2012, increasing by 5.3% from the previous year. The American stocks rose for the week, capping the longest stretch of daily gains since 2004, amid better than estimated corporate earnings and economic data. The European stocks posted a weekly gain, rising to a 23-month high as the German investor confidence climbed to a 2-year high. Japanese stocks gained, with the Topix index posting its longest weekly winning streak since 1973. The 21-carat gold declined by 100 Syrian pounds per gram in the local markets because of the decline of its price in the international markets, especially in New York and London. Gold declined by $35 per ounce at the end of its dealings. The 21-carat gold was set at 4,275 Syrian pounds per gram, while the 18-carat was set at 3,664 Syrian pounds per gram. Oil prices rose towards $114 a barrel as robust economic data from the United States, China, and Germany lifted the outlook for global fuel demand. And now over to the exchange rates according to the bulletin of the Central Bank of Syria. Conclude our news. Thank you for watching and goodbye.